Hi everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, and that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Pitch, which is the new drama from Fox. It is a drama about the first ever female baseball player to make the major leagues. And full disclaimer, well, first of all, this is the pilot, obviously, episode 1, season 1. We will start spoiler free, and we'll go into spoilers towards the end. And I think there is at least one thing we're going to want to talk about in the spoiler section, so there will be a spoiler section at the end. But full disclaimer before we start this, neither of us know very much about baseball. I want to make that clear before we start.
This comes with being British.
Yeah.
We just don't.
I'll put it this way, they mentioned a baseball player named Jackie Robinson several times in this episode, and I did have to Google him. I didn't know who that was. So, full disclosure, know nothing about baseball. I mean, I know the basic rules of it for the most part, but not.
Yeah, I mean, give me cricket, I can do that, but baseball, I'm lost.
At least baseball's in a diamond. Cricket's just a straight line. It's really boring.
It's easier.
How's it easier? It lasts days.
I mean, sure, but I can see the whole straight line. I just have to move my eyes back and forth. I have to think about a round in a diamond.
Oh dear. Anyway, so the whole idea here is that Jenny Baker is this very gifted athlete who can toss the ball, or pitch the ball, I should say. I'll use the right terminology. Better than a lot of people. And she's got a secret weapon, which is this screwball thing she does.
Yeah.
And I'm sure baseball people are like, that's not a screwball, it's a curveball. A screwball's something different. Again, know nothing about baseball. Just
it spins. That's all we know.
It's a spin ball. Yeah, call it a spin ball. Right. So, yes, that's the premise of the show, and I actually thought the episode was pretty good. For the most part, it did a.
Yeah, I agree. I have a few concerns about the show going forward.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what beyond maybe the team winning the league.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I don't know.
Feels very typical sports movie that though, doesn't it?
It does. But I actually quite like sports movies. Despite the fact that I care almost nothing about actual sports, sports movies I actually tend to quite enjoy.
Yeah, they can be very good.
And I think a part of that is because when you're filming a sport in a sport movie, you can do a lot more with the camera, so it makes it more exciting.
Yeah. It works for a lot of things, like even outside of sports, they do it like Black Swan, like where they make ballet much more cinematic and stuff.
Yeah, I don't give a crap about ballet.
Yeah, but it's just a thing when they're filming it, they make it more visually exciting.
Yeah, which, and I'm sure people who love baseball see poetry in the motion whenever they're watching it. Me, I see some people lobbing a ball around, and I'm not particularly fussed. But they do a good job of making the games exciting, and I thought the soundtrack choices for the most part were pretty good too.
Yeah, it was a lot of songs, but they were good calls.
I think that works better for sports scenes, honestly.
Yeah.
There's something about the energy of an actual song that works really well with...
especially pop music.
Yeah, and they use a Rolling Stones song.
Yeah.
Which actually made me smile, because it's... I mean, this was like over a year ago now, but remember that movie with Will Smith and Margot Robbie?
Oh,
about the con artists?
Like the heisty sort of thing.
Yeah. I'm totally forgetting. Focus. Was it called Focus?
Yeah. I think that is it.
Yeah. There was a scene in that at an American football game where they used that song as well. So I instantly thought of that because it was another sports scene, but it worked really well. So the episode focuses around her first day, well, her first week, but the first half of it's the first day of her first game, and it's her travelling to the stadium and all the paparazzi, because everyone's making a big deal because she's the first woman to be in the sport with the men, and there's all these different people on the TV talking about it and the effect of this, the impact of this, and it sort of shows you how much of a frenzy there is around her. And she's got her manager played by Ali Larter, and she's got bodyguards and whoever escorting her through places.
There's a line that Ali Larter says that kind of encapsulates it. It's like she compares her to Hillary Clinton and Kim Kardashian, but more important.
Yeah, well, she says she's an attractive Hillary Clinton, but she's Kim Kardashian with a skill set.
She's the most important woman in the country right now.
And I thought they did a good job as well of she had a good mystique about her, because they were trying to keep her at a distance to us, almost like as if she was this big thing. But as the episode went on, she became more human because we've seen more of her past. We've seen flashbacks with her father, which I do have a little bit of a concern with. Not a super thing, but I just, there's a whole scene where he's trying to teach his son how to play baseball, and the son's just not interested. But then the girl walks in, and he has the spark of an idea, and I have no problem with that, other than the fact that it just feels a little bit too, like, and they have to do this, but it's like it's encapsulated into a scene, like the entire process of him learning or him having the idea to teach his daughter how to play baseball. It feels a little bit cheesy because it's just all in one scene.
Especially with it being so close to the start of the episode.
Yeah. And the only other issue I have with the father figure is that he seems like determined right from the get-go to like have his daughter go to the major league. Like it's like he always thinks, right.
Well, it's that whole parents living vicariously through their children, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
Because I think he was saying he only ever got to the minors. And he wants. It's that whole thing where you see it all the time in TV and films where they want the kids to do what they do, but better, so that they can kind of have the achievement by proxy.
I know, I get it. It's just because she is the first woman to do this, right? It just does, like, maybe I just don't buy right away that he instantly from the get-go is like, I'm going to teach her to be good enough to be the first woman who'll do this.
Yeah, he doesn't doubt it for a second, does he? I mean, obviously, you're supposed to believe in your children, but you'd think he'd have at least some realistic concerns where especially considering this is what, the mid-90s where her childhood is, where this starts?
You'd imagine so, yeah.
I think it says 95? It came up with the thing, I can't remember now.
She's probably right in the middle of the ages between us, so yeah, it sounds about right.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that was saying like at that time, would you consider, even like if it's your daughter, would you go, of course she's going to get to the major leagues? Would you not think about it and go, is this like feasible?
Yeah. But that's it. I thought they did a really good job of examining the rest of the team and how they react to this, and how they see it as, oh, this is a stunt. It's just to sell tickets. She's practically a mascot. All this kind of attitude, and like her reaction to those reactions, and as if she doesn't care at first, but then she really kind of does when she hears some of the things they're saying, and there's a lot of that, and I think they do a pretty good job of it, because I actually kind of felt bad for her when she heard certain things, and I get her wanting to prove herself.
Yeah,
which definitely. Does make it a bit heartbreaking when she maybe doesn't do so well right away. And I don't think that's a spoiler, because that's like the episode gets there quite quickly.
Yeah, I mean, A, that was in the trailer, and B, that's kind of typical structure with anything like this. You have to fail before you can succeed, like any sort of sports movie. You
fail until someone gives you the speech, and then you do well.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But no, I actually quite like the show. I'm not entirely sure what like you say, what the season plan is, what the overall structure is going to be.
Episode to episode, where does this go? Because obviously the whole premise of the show is she's joined the team, she's the first one, and we've kind of had that now, like in sense of this was her first thing. She's proved that she's there. So where does it go now? And
we can't have her failing at the start of every episode only to be better again at the end.
No, that would be awful.
Exactly.
I mean, obviously you can have the team accept her a bit more and like integrate herself into that, but even that feels very limited in how long it can go.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously the team thing is definitely going to be around for a while. This whole like her gaining the respect is to be another one of the teammates rather than being this outsider.
Sure.
Because that's there throughout the entire episode, and some of them try to try to treat her as well as they would treat everyone else. Some of them blatantly don't. Some of them, and even the ones who are trying to treat her like everyone else, they still don't really believe she's meant to be there.
Except like the one that was her friend anyway.
Yes, Blip was his name. Yeah. He knew her already from the minors.
Yeah, they were in teams together before.
Yeah, so he sort of sticks up for her, and she even like Jenny brings up that she doesn't really have any friends or doesn't have much other interests. She's kind of devoted her entire self to this. So Blip's wife almost becomes one of her first female friends at one point.
Yeah.
Which, it's fine. I think they explore a lot of interesting things in here. It's taken something that might happen one day. I don't know. I don't know. Like, is there a female baseball league in America? I have no idea.
I assume so. Most sports have a separate league for women, don't they?
Yeah. But at the same time, baseball is the one sport where I'm like, do you really have to separate them?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it kind of comes down to the thing, like, even in, like, the Olympics, running, like, sprinting things, like, they're still separated into men and women.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and baseball is a lot about, like, your sprint, isn't it? Like, you got to get to the next base and stuff. So it's like, well, if they separate in the Olympics for, like, the pros who are just running, would they do it? Why wouldn't they do it for something like baseball?
Do the pitchers still bat, though?
I don't know. They're doing cricket.
Oh my god, you're comparing it to cricket again. Jesus.
It's the closest analogy I have. It's the only frame of reference I've got.
I like the actress Kylie Bunbury, who plays Jenny. I thought she did a good
she's
job.
very good.
So I guess we want to get spoilers because we want to talk about stuff that happens later in the episode. So I will say it's good. It's worth checking out. Whether or not it's for you, I guess probably depends if you're okay with the idea of having like an ongoing sports drama. I'm actually fine to try it. I'm fine to see where it goes.
Yeah, like I said, I think it depends. If you are a fan of sports movies in general, it's probably worth a shot. If you don't really like many sports movies, don't bother.
Yeah. And no, everyone loves an underdog story. So
yeah, exactly.
So if you like that kind of thing, then I think you're well into it. But anyway, full spoilers for Pitch from this point on, the pilot episode. So, this is the second TV show this week to hit me with a twist.
Yeah, and do you know what was weird? It was about halfway through the episode. I was like, it's a bit weird that her dad's not the manager, like her manager, because we see in the flashbacks that he's essentially like bringing her up, and even when she's doing the minor leagues and when she's getting signed, he's there, and he's like essentially is her manager. I was like, well, it's a bit weird.
I could write that off because like Ali Larter's character, says, "Oh, I've worked with George Clooney, I've done this," and she's this important woman, and I can see like why. Like,
I get it, but in my head I was still like, surely she'd stay with her dad. But I don't know.
I could see I'm still managing her from a player perspective, but from a media perspective, I totally get why you'd have this other person come in. But then
again, he would have a media presence. He was sure he was in the minors, but he has past experience. So
true, but it's not quite the same thing though.
No.
Like she's there to deal with global media, well, countrywide media, because no one outside of the US, other than Japan, really gives a crap about baseball. But anyway, so the only thing the thought I had with my dad, the dad though, as the show was going on, was, man, he's kind of a dick. Like, he's constantly stern-faced, he constantly looks disappointed in her, and he, like, they keep coming back to that line where she's like, "We did it, Pop," and he's like, "We ain't even done nothing yet,"
And he does give the kid a slap just to prove a point.
Well, that's before the twist, though. That was...
Yeah.
That actually happened.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so that added to it when I'm like, man, this guy's... I don't know if this guy's that sympathetic. I mean, sure, he hugs the kid after and goes, "Yeah, I'll get you some ice cream."
Yeah.
But still. But no, they hit me with a twist. So the dad's actually dead. And I didn't see it coming, and I think the reason why I didn't see it coming was... Well, I didn't expect a car crash, certainly. But that came out of nowhere for me.
Yeah.
And I didn't see the twist...
Much like the car did for him.
Yeah. And I didn't see the twist coming because it didn't feel like the kind of show that would have a twist, so I wasn't really looking for one.
Yeah, it was never playing it as one. It was just because they were just having conversations. Yeah. Obviously, we see at the end from the reality perspective of she was just funneling the emotions into the conversations.
Yeah. And I actually think it plays quite well, and I like the moment at the end when she's standing in the stadium alone, and they say the line again, but he actually smiles this time. And because it's her head that's doing this, because it's her manifestation of him, I kind of get why he was angry the whole time now. And
because it was like she knew that she wasn't good enough, and she wanted to prove it.
Yeah, but now he's smiling at the end because she feels that she's accomplished something, and that's good. My only criticism of this is that I feel like I'm now at a point where I've seen a lot of TV shows where the main character imagines a dead person.
Especially recently.
Not even just recently. Like I'm going back to Dexter. Like this has been happening on TV for a long time now, and it feels like I've seen it quite a lot. So
Yeah, but the thing is, this might not be an ongoing thing. It might be just for this episode.
I think it will be an ongoing thing, but I think it will differentiate itself because it is such a different show from all the other shows that typically do this. She's not a serial killer. She's not, doing all this illegal stuff. She's not doing like these high stakes things. She's playing sports. So I think it'll just be, like she'll see him in the crowd. He'll come in and give her an imaginary pep talk once in a while,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Actually, I have one nitpick. This is a very small nitpick, but the second game, the mum, who is still there, presumably she's still alive and actually in the crowd, is sitting in the exact same seat as before.
That may not be completely
You think they've got
coincidental.
dedicated seats?
I think family and season two, like they have
Okay.
dedicated seats for reserved for people who are going to be there, like family members and stuff.
All right, okay, that's fair.
My biggest thing is why did she have an empty seat next to her?
There you go. Yeah, there you go. That makes sense. Maybe Jenny told it like, I want a seat there for Dad, even though he's not going to be here.
Yeah, no,
symbolic.
I can see that actually.
Yeah, that could be. Like, I'm kind of
Yeah.
stretching, but that could
It's
be.
the sort of thing I could actually see someone doing though.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought the pacing was good. I liked how it cut to actual game footage of the game, if that makes sense, with the logos and the scores and stuff in the corner.
Yeah, yeah.
Made it feel very authentic. And I was actually thinking, see when she walks out onto the pitch for the first time and the stadium's full in the first game, I was thinking, oh man, you couldn't have done this show like 10, 15 years ago. Because they need CG for the crowd.
Yeah, exactly.
And it wouldn't have been good enough. I mean, we had CG then, but it wouldn't have been good enough on a TV budget to do the crowd. Whereas here, it was pretty good. It was fine. Like,
Because it's a crowd. There's no
yeah,
distinct faces.
it's out of focus. It's far away. They'll have the close-ups of like their 100 extras that when they want a reaction,
Yeah.
and that'll do it. But no,
I will say I enjoyed the captain's little pep talk, because he was referencing that. Oh, this is where I give a pep talk.
yeah, and he ends up actually having like a little slogan at the end, which he wasn't planning
Yeah,
on.
it's like,
Yeah.
oh, came all down on the spot. It's not bad.
I thought the captain was a good character because he went out of his way to try and be nice to her and treat her like one of the guys, even though he really believed that she would be gone before
Yeah.
long. But then he still stepped up at the end and went, okay, I'm going to give you the pep talk. It's like he wants to be convinced, but he's putting a show on for the other guys.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like to me. And even the coach, the manager, coach.
Yeah.
Coach. He, like, his speech in the locker room before she comes in for the first time. Like, again, I thought that was an interesting mix of, right, okay, this is a bit of a sideshow, it's a distraction, we can't get around that. And, but let's, be nice to her.
Something respectable about
Yeah.
it.
And obviously, that's one thing that's not resolved, is obviously they set up this plot where the owner of the team wants to replace the coach, or the team
Yeah.
manager. And that's, obviously going to be an ongoing thing. But you can see even at the end of the episode, there's like a fight breaks out in the locker room because some people aren't happy she's there.
Yeah.
And they make these comments, they make these digs, and
It's mainly from the pitcher that she's replacing.
yeah.
He's obviously, why wouldn't you be unhappy? I mean, I think you'd be unhappy if anyone was taking your job, not just the fact that there's all the media attention.
Yeah. It's almost like he doesn't even have a chance to shine anymore because she's this,
Yeah.
story. Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I mean, obviously, for some of them, it's just like, why are you being a bit petty? But for him, it makes sense for him to hold a grudge of all the team.
Oh, he's still been a dick about it though.
He has been a dick about it, but wouldn't you be a dick about it if someone was like, right, this is my job now. You're now second best. I get it.
I don't sympathise with much as you are. You're sympathising with him far too much.
No, but I get if this is your job, you're the starter on a baseball team. You have been for a couple of years, presumably. You're very good. and then it's like all of a sudden, because of some media frenzy, that's it. You're now dropped essentially. You're
Yeah,
no
but
longer the star that you were.
yeah, but
I
I'm sure this happens all the time. They constantly get
Yeah, and
new
I bet
stars.
all those other people do get angry and act like dicks. Or not all of them, but I bet a lot of them do.
Yeah, but you can do it with grace. You can take it, accept it, and he knows it's a sport he's in. He knows this is going to happen at some point. Maybe he feels
Sure.
it's too early, sure, but
But I think maybe he feels that she hasn't earned it. Like she hasn't earned the place to do it. She's only replaced him because of the media storm that it is. That's why he's being replaced. It's not because she's legitimately a better player than he is.
he still comes off as a petty little dick, though.
Yeah,
He
he
really
does a bit,
does.
but I still get it.
Seeing you'll sympathise with the dickhead, aye, that makes total sense. All right, so I think that'll wrap us up. I liked it. I was into it.
Yeah, me too.
I think for me more than anything else, it had a good energy.
Yeah,
There was a constant feeling of moving forward, and I like Ginny, and I think yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing the next one to seeing what the show will be after the setting up of
yeah,
of the idea and what it's actually going to do for me on a week to week basis.
that'll be the real test. But for a pilot episode, this was pretty good. So by all means, check it out. So let us know what you thought of the episode in the comments below. Like and subscribe and all that stuff helps us out a lot. We've got a bunch more pilots and returning shows in the next couple of weeks, and indeed the next month and a half. So check those out. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. We will see you next time.